I just made it this morning because it was for some. I'd been wanting to do it, so now I hate that we don't have a test bench. It's rigged because that battery is shot. I'm gonna make a nice one, but this is just temporary. But the good thing is, if you had to, you could take this in the car, plug your RCA's in, and test anything quickly. You know, in like in an emergency. And the nice thing too is because it's a screen, you can see all the tracks. We're doing like more and more of the integration stuff. And you know how we have to check AC voltage on the radio so that we know what high, low, or what setting to change on the input side of the helix or the match or whatever amp we're using. And also it's nice to know where the deck clips. You need an oscope to check the clipping and the meter to check the AC voltage, right? So I wanted, and we have all that, but it's kind of a pain because you have to carry all this stuff. So I wanted one where you can do everything with 1 meter. So check this out. So that's this meter. So you put it on, this is DC voltage, and you press this F3 button. See how it switches to AC? So see the AC voltage?
10.
So deck power, AC voltage is 10 volts, right? So now, but let's say, okay, cool. So I'm gonna back it down just because I know already, but here. I'm gonna back it down. And let's say I wanna see where the radio clips. So you hold the auto button for 2 seconds. Give it a second, it takes a second to calibrate. And then you hit auto, because it has to, you'll hear it click. See it? So now watch. So we're clean, right? 26, 27, 28. Now you hit auto again. When it goes off the scale, you just hit auto. It'll click, resizes, right? And then watch. So 28. Is it clipping?
Yep.
See it? Soft clip. So 29, no clip. 30. And then you see, as I go up, it gets clipped, like super clipped, right? So let's say we're going to go back to 29. So 29 is clean, right? But I want to know what AC voltage is. Hold it for 2 seconds again. 7.5 volts. Tell me that isn't cool. So with one tool, you can do all that quickly. And then if you use our meter tongs, you could do it on the plug, you could do it on the amp, you could do it on whatever, and you can do everything with one tool. So either you put the alligator clips if the wires are bare. You can throw these on it if you're probing the wires. But so what do you guys think? It's pretty sick, right? And the nice thing is there are other ones like this. There's nicer ones, which we have, but it has a meter here and the oscope here. So it's 2 different test leads.
Yeah.
I didn't want that. I don't want to change nothing. I want to just connect it to it and be able to run multiple tests without having to switch leads, or what do you guys think? Okay, so now that's the high level. Let's check the low level. So this is an RCA. I have an RCA plugged right into the back of the deck. So we're gonna just make sure. So we're still playing, oh no, we don't want to play pink noise. So same thing, 1K, right? So check this out. So AC voltage. Low voltage, 3.87 volts. Remember, low voltage is around 4 to 5 volts.
Does it clip the same?
So that's, we got a good thought. Okay, cheap Chinese radio, right? This is some bootleg off-brand, I don't even know what the hell it is, right? But, okay, so what do? You hold down auto. 2 seconds. There's the waveform.
It's clean.
No clip. Look, I can hit auto again. And it'll resize it if it's too small. Clean all the way up. Isn't that crazy? But so the speaker level clips at 29 or 30. The high level goes all the way up to full tilt, no clipping. And again, I need to know the output voltage. 3.87 volts out of my RCA, so almost 4 volts. So this has almost 4 volts of output for a no-name brand. There are name brand radios that don't have 4 volts of output. So that's pretty impressive, right? So this is will be our new test bench, right? But what do you think? What do you guys think of this thing? so I marked it. Now, it will also do like impedance, continuity. It'll show you like there's like ohms. It's not going to do it now because it's freaking out because the things, but you understand. So, and then like I said, the nice thing is, you know, with this, you can throw these on here, right? Like we talked about. And if you have the connector, you can sit there and do the same test, right? So, and then you're going to have to run the 1K for the highs and the 40K or the 40 hertz for the bass, right? So that you can validate that what if everything's clean, highs and sub. Make sense? So the other one is, I mean, Rob used this yesterday. I showed you that before. Did you ever? Rob used it, but this thing's awesome. So, see all these screws? So you got to sit there with an Allen key and even either one by one or all at the same time. With this thing, you know how long that would take with the damn Allen key?
Be working on
That first one, yeah, we'd be like on the first or second one, right? And then you put the wires in, and obviously you just sit there and then you just press the button the other way, right? So that, and it's got some torque, so
yeah, it's pretty good.
it's actually got some really strong like. But what do you think? Cool? Yep. And then the nice thing about it is, so what I did is I bought, and I'm gonna make like a little thing, but here's all the metric, here's all the Allen, and then here's all the torques, right? So in essence, kind of, you know how like sometimes you have to disassemble a radio or you have to disassemble a cluster and it's a lot of tiny screws. Yep. You can grab that.
This would be good for the Porsche radios.
For the Porsche radios, when we have to do the ribbon mod, yeah. You know how it's all those tiny little screws to get the board apart?
It has more strength than the other one.
Yeah, because I remember I got that little tiny one, but the battery dies and it doesn't have enough torque to break it loose. The nice thing is this one's, it locks when when you don't have power. Yeah. So you can use it like a regular screwdriver to like break it free and then hit it. And it's just, and even if you just get them loose or get them snug and then the last bit, but this thing's got some torque. When it's fully charged, you can crank down on it. Like it will literally compress the ferrules. Like if like, you know, yeah. So I like that thing a lot. It's crazy because we've had these forever, but.
What is it? Magnets. Oh, is that
try and pull it off.
Holy shit. That fucker is on there.
Right? Right? Isn't that crazy? So if in, you know, classic, obviously the car has to be metal, can't be aluminum. So that would.
They don't have aluminum magnets.
They don't have aluminum magnets yet. Soon as you invent them, we'll be rich. So, but.
Carbon, it might actually still stick.
Huh?
You think so?
Yeah.
What?
Carbon fiber would stick to it?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's metal strands in it, but I don't know about, yeah. But anyway, if you have a car and you don't want, and we have these are not new, but I just got reintroduced. There's another company that carries them. They sent me one. So, but these are nice for like certain cars or whatever. You don't want to make any holes, but you want to hold a harness in place. You can put that on there. And then, you know, then now you can just sit there and, you know, you put your 4 gauge or whatever and you clamp it. Now, the other option is, let's say it is, there's a way to cheat. Let's say it is, it's kind of goofy, but let's say it is an aluminum car, fiberglass car, whatever. You can make a small piece of metal and double-sided tape it or bond it.
Or like the GPS antennas come with.
Yeah, that magnet, yeah. Boom, and then now, I mean, that thing's, and they make different sizes of these. They make like real small ones. I'll show you. We actually have a full bin of all of them. So if you ever have a situation, or you know, like sometimes with the trunk hinges, like let's say the classic, the GTO, there's a perfect example. You could magnet it right to the hood hinge, and now you can wire tie it, and if you want, that sucker's on there. And if you want to, you can just put a little bit of double-sided tape, and it's gonna or that like
Something.
not felt, that rubber, that real thin rubber that we have,
Yeah.
because that'll smash it between the plate and this, and then it won't let it. Because the only thing it can do is you can slide it, right? But if it has that rubber, that grip tape, like either like it's like the rubber grippy tape or whatever, you put a little bit on there, it ain't gonna slide because now it's holding and the tape won't let it budge. Because let's say you put it like this and it's really heavy. I mean, it has to be really heavy though, and then if it is, you just put a couple of them, right? So, what do you guys think? Cool, right? All right, another one. Check this out. I don't know how I found this, but new PowerWorks. Look at that.
That in there.
Yeah.
Was that always in there?
No, I just found it.
Nice.
Isn't that sick?
The same.
Same. It works with our same terminals. I bought them to test. It's just a different version, but I like it.
Because it's already one piece.
It's one piece. You can't screw it up, and it's nice. It only goes in one way.
Yeah.
And that's sick.
Yeah.
And it uses all our same terminals. So the
I saw that when I was doing the Lexus box.
well, here's the other cool thing. I don't know if you saw that. You can mount it, which I like. See these little holes?
Yeah.
So it's made so that they're small screws, but you like a box, a panel, whatever. You put the 2 screws in it.
Yeah.
Now you literally, and this is 12 gauge. So like for our sub boxes.
Yep.
So I wanted to buy it to make sure it was going to work for what we do, and then we may switch to those. So this way, it's like, I mean, that's super to me. That's super clean. Our other way works fine, but I think this is kind of cool. What do you guys think?
That grabs way more too.
Yeah, you could.
It locks in way
You could feel how well, because if you look, it has a retainer. See, it has a locating pin. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
So that keyway, it's not just the tabs that are holding, it's the 2 tabs and the center keyway. And then I was gonna show you last one real quick. Let's say you wanna check the capacitor on a tweeter so that you know the crossover frequency, right? We did this before. But basically what you do is, pink noise, okay. You have to have a tweeter. You cannot do this test without it. Like if you, without the,
cap on it.
yeah, without the cap or the tweeter, right? So if you test just the cap,
It's not going to show.
it's not going to show. It shows full range. It needs the tweeter in line for you to be able to see what that frequency is.
To make the connection, basically.
To make the connection, yeah. Because otherwise it's just, you could put, it doesn't do it, right? It's because it's the combination of the cap and the coil, the ohms of the driver.
Yeah.
That's why the crossover point changes depending on if it's an 8 ohm, 4 ohm, 3 ohm, 2 ohm, whatever the ohm the woofer is or the tweeter or the speaker is, changes the crossover point. So that's why you must have the speaker that you're using in order to check it. But it's just a quick, easy way to check what the crossover point is. Like if you're wondering, like, let's say what the factory tweeters crossed over at with the, the little caps that come on them, you could literally hook this up, play pink noise, put the negative, put the positive after the cap. It will show you what crossover the tweeters crossed over at. We might do that. We'll grab like the factory Toyota one and just check it real quick and say, oh, okay, this one's crossed over at 15K. Well, this one's crossed over at like 8K. So imagine you're getting that much more information out of your tweeter just by swapping it to an aftermarket. Instead of going from 10K and up, or let's say 15K and up, you're going from 8K to 20K. Does that make sense? So just quick, easy way to do that.